Sweet. On one-to-ones that I've had over the past couple of weeks, I've noticed a couple of things. Objections. Don't draw on the board, you fucking mongs. So people are having really fucking good discoveries, but then when it comes to the objections, it's falling to pieces in terms of just not following foundations, like the sort of the foundational level stuff when going through frameworks, going through funnels, bringing emotions back into the conversation. Right. So I just want to go back through some of the theory stuff and take you boys through it and just make sure you understand it. Because with everyone know or not know, anyone know, does anyone not know what I mean by the funnel in the objections? Like put your hand up in the chat or in person. Sweet. So the funnel, right? The whole point of objections is to funnel down to what the real objection is, right? Because this is something that I see people fuck up on all the time, where they're in the objections and they're just throwing shit at the wall, hoping something sticks, and not identifying what the real thing is. And when you do this, nothing is going to land. You're going to go around in circles, and they're just going to keep on mentioning the same objection over and over and over and over again because you're not actually tackling what the real thing is. So, who can tell me what the smoke screens are at the top of the funnel?
Think about it.
Yeah.
Talk to partner.
Partner.
I need to do more research.
That's kind of fear. These two. Think about it and the partner. So whenever you get these objections, I would say 95% of the time, partner, they're going to be smoke screens behind what the real fucking objection is. Right? All your job at this stage is to filter them down into what the three actual objections are as a whole. What are the three main objections?
Money, fear, and logistics.
Bosh, one after another. Are you back? Why would it do that? Shut up, perfect as well. There you go. Money, fear, and logistics. Right, to then find out and obviously funnel down into which one it actually is. Right, so this is objections as a whole. People overcomplicate this massively. And in the objections, they're flapping about. Josh won't mind me mentioning. But I had a one-to-one with Josh Darks last week. And he was throwing all these amazing advanced hooks and reframes and analogies and everything. But the bloke just wanted to pay. Or rather, he just didn't have the finances. What was it, Josh? Didn't have finances? I can't remember which one it was.
He literally just didn't have finances.
Just didn't have the finances, right? And Josh was going around in circles, throwing all these amazing reframes and hooks in, but the bloke was just broke. So, like, you need to be able to identify, number one, what the smoke screen is. Number two, how to funnel it down to what the actual fucking objection is. Any questions for me on that? Go once.
Let's say the money is the first thing they throw at you, right? But you feel like that's a smoke screen. Would you just like?
It depends what they say.
Because that's the first thing that I'm getting all the time is money.
And what do they say when it's money?
Oh, that's a lot of money, bro. Like,
Compared
is
to what?
there a way I can break it down? That's the first thing they always say to me.
Well, that's good because you're already here and you already know what it is. Only two ways the money objection can go. Who can tell me?
Money, fear, money, logistics.
Fear or logistics. It's the only two ways that it can go. What question would you ask Josh to figure out which one of these two it is?
Is it a case of you don't quite have the full investment and we might need to look at breaking it down? Or is there a case of you have the investment, there's a bit of uncertainty there?
Context first. What I mean by that is I would literally, bro, just simply ask them, what made you ask that? Can I ask? Why did you ask that? Sometimes they just ask it as a tick in the box question. Oh, I was just seeing what was offered. I was just seeing what was there. So gain context. Again, this goes for any fucking objection. Gain context on the actual objection before you dive into it. Does that make sense, Josh? First.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you gain that, and they're like, "Oh, mate, I just like it's fucking too much. I don't have the money." Or it's a case of, "Oh, I was just seeing what you guys had to offer." You don't have more context to figure out which one it is, and then you can go into that question. You know, is it the fact that you don't quite have the full investment and we need to break that down, or is it a case that you've got it and there's just, you know, a bit of uncertainty in terms of getting started? Like, which one is it there? And then you know where to go with the conversation. Whether it's fear, obviously they have the investment, there's just a bit of uncertainty, or whether it's logistics. Does that help, Josh?
Yeah, definitely. Because I've not been getting context at all. I've been going straight into it.
Yeah. Because always get context. Why? Get them to justify their answers. This goes with like fucking anything, right? Any more questions on that?
I have one more.
Yeah.
After they give money first, but then a lot of them will go into, oh, I just really need to think about it.
Mhm.
Right. But how would you tackle that? Because think about is like normally a smoke screen, right?
Yeah. So they give you the money objection, and then they throw a think about it in.
Yeah.
Only two ways it can go.
Right.
Which do you think it is?
Fear.
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear. Right? Because you've established they've got the money. Or maybe you haven't. You should have. You've established they've got the money. Now they want to go away and think about it.
So that's fear.
Straight away, then that's fear. Because if they've
So
got the money, the only thing that's holding them back there is fear. There's nothing else to it.
So what question would you ask in a situation like that?
Yeah, can we role play it, Justin?
Yeah.
Sometimes as well.
Yeah, let me do something first, then we'll role play it. Because it'll actually lead you pretty well onto the next point that I want to make. Which is this. Bringing emotions. Is that in the center of everyone's board? Yeah, can you all see that?
Mhm.
So bringing emotions back into the conversation, right? Because I've seen a lot of people. This is why I'm like so hesitant to give out word tracks and stuff for objections, because people get given word tracks and analogies and everything like that, and then as soon as they run out of these, they're just like, fuck, where do I go from here? Right. So you've got to now be able to build this context. This is why we do such good discoveries. Because Josh showed me a discovery last week, and I was like, what the fuck? It was a very fucking good discovery, like extremely good. And then I looked at his objections, and I was like, what the fuck? There's such a big what's the word I'm looking for? I suppose you can call
Discrepancy.
it discrepancy. Thank you. There's a big
Disparity.
discrepancy between the two, because like his discovery was like someone that had been in sales for like 1 or 2 years. I was like, fucking hell, that was impressive. But then it came to the objections, it was all over the place. So you have to be able to bring the amazing context that you get in the discovery, identity, limiting beliefs, like everything like that, back into the convo. Because as soon as you mention this motherfucker, the conversation completely changes. Completely changes, which is why it's so good to get objection out of the way before you get to the price. Because when you drop the price, what all they're going to think about, bit of a fucking obvious question, but what do you think they're going to be thinking about as soon as you drop the price?
The price.
The fucking price. That's all they're going to be thinking about, right? So it's your job then. You need to. This is all over the place, but just need to fucking splurge my brain out. You need to do this. Remind them why they're there, right? The word tracks. Where is it? The word tracks for all of this is to filter down to what the real objection is, right? But then if you're not able to actually attack what the real objection is and build their story into it, nothing's going to matter, because nothing's going to land. Does that make sense to everyone? Nods. Sweet. Any questions on that so far?
I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but what if they're like, yeah, but it's just a lot of money. Like they're just like kind of being dismissive.
Dismissive in terms of what?
Like, I get that, but like it's still a lot of money, or I get that, but like I still need to speak to my wife, or I get that, but you get the big but, you know what I mean?
How many times has that butt kept you stuck over the last fucking 5 years? Again, picking up on little language things. It can be a question thing. Again, speaking to the fucking old Americans, like it can be fucking irritating. Because some people are stuck in their ways. Like for example, a good example of that is I was speaking to like a really successful business owner. He was running like a factories or something like that. And I challenged him on decision making because he was saying, "Oh yeah, it's just how I make decisions, etc." I remember bringing it to Josh Large, and he was like, "Mate, if you're going to challenge someone on decision making, they have to have made bad decisions previously." And when I challenged him on his decision making, he was like, "This decision making served me over the past X amount of time, like I've made millions." And I was just like, fuck, that didn't go to plan. So it's like for challenge on decision making, they have to have actually made bad decisions in the past. So again, you have to be sort of a bit savvy with it. But Mo, specifically for you, bro, it might be better questions. It might be again picking up on language, but then also bringing up this stuff, limitations, why they haven't got to where they want to go, what's been actually holding them back from taking action. Sorry, bro, go on.
I was gonna say I'm gonna rewatch it if I feel like it's something I flopped on in any reason. Obviously, I'll be able to tell because I've been coached enough by you long enough. Then I'll just send it to you if that's okay.
Easy, bro. Sure.
Yeah, and also, can I ask you a follow-up question? When do you know when it's time to be like, F this, I give up? Like,
who asked me that the other day? I think it was Kieran, wasn't it? Yeah, Kieran.
We only get
Have a
taught
bit of a
like
sales call and
pros
ask
and
how you
pros
get
and
on.
cons. Like, yes, obviously, I could push them till I get hung up, but also I could get fucking suspended by V-Shred.
Yeah, it's a bit different with V-Shred because they can be quite corporate with it. I know a lot of guys that had a lot of what do you call them, disciplines, I suppose, on V-Shred because of that. But two things. One is making a call in terms of like making a decision if you have a call straight after that. Like, is this actually worth my time in terms of objection handling this person to butcher my next call? Or would it be worth just fucking cutting and just moving on to the next one? That's one side of it. Another side of it is experience, which is not going to be a very good answer. You're not going to like that one. Because it's like, you'll know when you've taken so many calls, whether this person is going to move or whether they're just going to stay stuck in the same place. Right? If they're fucking repeating themselves over and over and over and over again with the same excuses, with the same objection, with the same shit, and they're not budging, all the reframes and everything like that, I'll just burn them at that point.
Or refund as well. You know how many refunds I got last month?
How many did you get?
20K.
20K.
It's as if I'm on the calls. I had this as well when I was doing door to door. It's as if I'm there, like doing this in front of them, hypnotizing them. They get off the call and they forget. And I do everything after the call. It's like, Pinky, promise me you'll keep me updated. I'll stay on the call with them. I'll get them to download the app in front of me, get them to repeat back to me what they need to do, and they'll still refund.
V-Shred's rough for that, bro. It's fucking rough. I think I was actually on a call with Josh the other day, and I think he said 1 month he lost 10K in commissions from refunds, which is fucking insane. But the money you make outside of that helps as well. So two edges to it. Any more questions so far? Sweet. So back to emotions, right? So the whole point of having a really fucking good discovery and getting these limiting beliefs, shifting identity, like holding people accountable to their words and their actions, etc., is so we can keep them fucking accountable when this shit comes into the conversation. That's why we do it, right? Word tracks, analogies, everything like that, obviously are quite important. But if you don't build their context into it, it's not going to land, okay? How can I explain this? Let me just role play it. I think that's fucking easier. Sahil, do you want to be just prospect for me quick? Is he still here?
So I was eating something. Yeah, I'm still here.
Fucking chonging the food down.
Sorry, man.
Don't be too much of a dick. I just want to give just examples of how you can bring back emotions into a conversation.
So where do you want to run it from? Like, let's say with
I tell you what, give me give me like decision making stuff. It's 5K, so we can go PIF, we can go credit. Like, which one do you want to do?
I think, yeah, I'll just take the time to sort of just, if you could send it all in an email, just need to reconsider, think about it for like.
Sweet. Obviously, first fucking thing we do is tie down, because I've seen a few people on objections not do a fucking tie down, so make sure you do your tie downs. Yeah, no problems here. I guess before we dive into that and send you the email across and everything, do you feel like everything we have here at X Company can actually put you in a position where you can make 15K a month and be the man that you want to be?
Yeah, I guess so.
You guess so? You didn't sound too certain, brother.
No, I'm sure you guys can. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Like, what, in terms of the process, what stands out to you that makes you feel like we can actually put you in that position?
I mean, it's just the guidance, the community, everything just all together just, yeah, completely makes sense, and I can definitely see it working out.
Okay, sweet. I suppose, what would you like to see in the email before I send that off to you, to see if I can help you out, brother?
Yeah, just like a whole program scope, what it looks like, what essentially the next sort of, let's say, couple weeks, months would look like in the program. Then yeah, taking it from there. Price point as well would help.
Sweet. We don't really send out emails, brother, because like everything we just went through, like I can tell you again if you need me to, but like, why do you feel like you need an email to make the decision? Like, what's behind that?
I guess it was just nice having everything writing right, so I can actually consolidate it and sit down and look at it, right?
Mm-hmm. What would you need to consider about it? What's specifically coming up for you that's making you want to put time and distance between you and making the decision?
I'd say probably the money at the moment.
Okay, so is it fair enough to say you don't sort of need everything in an email? It's more of a conversation about how can we make this work in terms of finances.
I mean, yeah, if we can make a conversation work, yeah, let's see.
But is that going to help you move forward? Is the thing, bro?
I think it can. Yeah.
Okay, fair. Well, I'll just go into money then, right? But just fucking give me a decision making reframe so I can show you what I mean.
Sorry, but I've just lost it all. Run with someone else, bro. My mind.
Fucking hell, Josh
Sorry,
Darks.
man. I'm so sorry.
What was the last thing?
Don't
said?
worry. Just fucking make some shit up about you wanting to delay taking action.
Yeah, this is the way I've always done things, right? I never make decisions off the bat like this. So if I could have it in that email and I could run it through.
Sure. In terms of like how that's always the way that you've made decisions. Is it fair enough to say up to this point, like you're not 100% happy with where you're at? Is that fair to say?
I'm not 100% happy. No.
Right. Is it fair enough to say, right, the decisions that you've made up to this point have led to that spot where you're not happy with where you're at?
To a degree, yeah, I could
Yes
say
or
so.
no? Yes or no, bro?
Yeah.
Right. Because like, can I ask you, bro, like, how important is it for you to actually, fuck, my neck just fucking twinged. How important is it for you to actually lose the 15 kilos, so you can be there for you and your kids? Like, how important is that to you?
I mean, that's the main goal, right? It means everything to me.
And what would that actually mean for you to be in that position where you can play around with your kids without feeling fucking knackered? You can walk around with your chin held high and you can have the confidence in yourself.
I mean, what that would mean for me, it means that I can stop worrying about my future. I can actually be that father that I should be.
And how much longer do you want to delay being that dad? Being that version of you that your kids can look up to?
Yeah, well, I don't want to delay it for much longer. But
Much longer?
yeah, well, I'd like to. I don't want to put time between that, to be honest.
Why not though? Because it would be the easiest thing to do. Like, you could easily just push this off like you have been for the past 5 years. Why not just continue pushing it off and dealing with X, Y, and Z pain point?
because then I'm never going to get to that position where I can play with them.
And to step into the shoes of that version of you that can play with them, that does have the confidence, that can be the man that you want to be. What decisions do you feel like you need to start making so you can put yourself in that position? Is it pushing things off the way that you have, or is it actually taking action on being that person?
Yes, taking action on being that person.
And that's what I mean by bringing emotions into the conversation. Does that make more sense? It's probably easier than me fucking drawing on the whiteboard.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. It's like a little mini discovery.
That's spot on. Right? I want you boys to start treating the objections as a mini discovery. Because that's what it is. That's where I've changed my objections now, to just fucking bashing heads with people and batting people into corners. Like, you want to make it a mini discovery again by bringing all this shit, emotions, including limitations, obviously. Limits, identity, emotions, all that shit, cost of an action. You need to remind them of that in the objections, because that's how you avoid that sort of, fuck, where do I go from here? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do outside of the word tracks. Does that make some sort of sense? Or I just chat out my ass?
No, that works a lot better instead of using all this fancy shit that we see.
Yeah, because that stuff is useful, right, in specific scenarios. But again, if it's not tailored to the prospect, to their needs, to their limitations, identity, cost of an action, etc., it's not going to matter, because you're just going to keep going around circles. Go on, Josh.
At what point would you start doing that mini discovery?
That's a difficult. There's no like rule of thumb.
Is it when you can sense that like the limiting belief is what's kind of, or like
Yeah,
what,
kind of. Yeah, kind
where
of.
before
It's like
is ultimately coming into it, isn't it? Like
it's very situational based. It's very much dependent on what the prospect is saying.
mm,
Right? If they're giving me think about it and they're delaying and they're putting shit off, and like I'm like, what the fuck is this guy on about? And they're not making sense to me. Then I would go into like sort of that mini discovery and remind them why they're there. Sorry. With the money, I would then want to tie the emotions into it, because that's where the sale's made. With the money, it's going to be too logistical otherwise. Because you want to attach the outcome to the price. Because all they're going to be thinking about is fuck, 5 grand, 5 grand, 5 grand. What you need to remind them of, that 5 grand is going to allow you to achieve X. How important is it for you to achieve X? What would the feeling be like when you're there? And knowing that you've got out of your own way, you can have 1, 2, and 3. With that example I was just doing with Josh, with the kids. Like, imagine your kids looking up at you in 20 years and you're still running around playing with them. Well, 20 years, but you're still running around in 10 years playing with them, being dad that you want to be. What would that moment be worth to you? Or you can go the opposite way, where it's like, say you're in hospital because you didn't take, excuse me, sorry. Say you're in hospital because you decided not to take care of your health. Are you going to be thinking about money then? Or are you going to be thinking about how the fuck do I get my health back in check for my kids? Blah, blah, blah. I can't remember where I was going with that. Just went on a rant. Did that help? Whoever asked me that fucking question. James, was it?
yeah, it was just ultimately just like, obviously if they're bringing in the reason why they haven't done things in the past into the reason why they're not going to then go forward with this, ultimately you're kind of bringing back in the discovery, aren't you? So, and then reminding them of what they kind of want to get out of the offer rather than the cost it is to get to that, if that makes sense.
That's why we do this shit.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly why we do that. So that we can then hold them accountable to that. Because is it fair enough to say, like I was saying to Mo earlier, how many times has that but stopped you getting where you need to go? Do you hear that in your language? That's dangerous. Like, how many times has that put you in a spot where you're unhappy in your own skin? And again, with the limitations, say they're missing the accountability, that's what's held them back. Can I offer you accountability now? And you can just fucking rinse them because they've already bought into it. Does that help, James? Sweet. Appreciate that was more of a theory lesson. But was that helpful?
I think more of these would be fine.
Say again, bro.
I think more of these would be sick.
Yeah, because it's just like, again, it's like reminding of the foundations, right? Because we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught as humans, which is a big thing that I've noticed along the way as well. It's like, that's why I use flashcards. Cause I still do them. I still read them. So I can still fucking rinse Mo when he tries to be a dickhead prospect on calls. But hopefully that helped, boys. I just wanted to go through this because I noticed quite a few people, not just Josh last week, that I had one-on-ones with where their discoveries were really fucking good. I can tell you boys are putting in the work with the discoveries because they are fucking next level. Then it come down to the objections. Sorry, the other way. Come down to the objections, and it was like the really, really simple foundational stuff that was being fucked up on. Because that's the difference between like 20 to 30% close rate and 30 to like 50, 60 plus. Or as a heels case, 60 to 90. Fucking mad cunt. But yeah, any questions on this, boys, specifically? This fucking Johnny age 5 thing. Go once, go twice. Roger. Sweet. Well, we'll end it there today, boys. It's good seeing you all. Tomorrow we'll do call reviews. 5 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah, not 6. It's in the calendar. It's everywhere, right? It's 5 p.m. UK time. Joe, go put some sun cream on your Mac cunt. I'm looking forward to seeing you all Saturday as well. It's going to be.
Yes, do you have about 5 minutes? I just want to ask something.
Yeah, bro. Easy. Sweet.
I'll
All
be
you
even more
fuckers.
burned tomorrow.
You dyed that hairline, bro.